Welcome to Team Proxy the Power. Amnar here, and I'm bringing you another standard Pauper deck tech. Recently at SPDC and MPDC, the blue-red spells deck has been doing very well, so I decided to try it out this week. This deck is basically built around the card of Thermo-Alchemists, allowing you to tap him to deal a damage to each opponent, but whenever you cast an instant or a sorcery, you get to untap him and tap him for another damage. He combines pretty well with Prowess from the elusive Spellfist. It's not real Prowess, it doesn't give you +1/+1, but it does give you an extra attack, and he can't be blocked this turn. So, combined with your large amount of removal spells here in Fiery Impulse, as well as Galvanic Bombardment, you can usually unleash several instants and sorceries in a single turn, dealing large chunks of damage with your Spellfist or with your Thermo-Alchemist. The version I'm running here is sort of similar to one that was run by Thunderous in SPDC 3401. His deck ran Powerhound as well. I like Powerhound because it has Prowess, but with a little bit of permanence. I mean, it gets +1/+1 for any instant or sorcery, but it gets a counter, so it stays on there. And this creature in this deck can grow pretty big, pretty fast. And combined with Trample, that allows you to also get into the extra points of damage. Rounding out your threats would be a 2 of the Ojutai's Summons. I really like this card. Puts a 2/2 flying monk token into play. And then on the following upkeep, you get a second token. Combine that with all of your removal spells to take out enemy flyers, and that's an easy way to sort of seal out the game. I'm running 3 Fiery Tempers to pair up with my 4 Tormenting Voice, as well as 2 of Lightning Axe for extra discard outlets. Also, rounding out the removal is 3 of Clutch of Currents. Take Inventory here is a real all-star. I really like this card. The first one is 2 mana to draw a card, but the second card is 2 mana Divination, and then the third one you cast is pretty much like a Treasure Cruise. I also forgot to mention a 2 of Ingenious Scob that I was running. Now, I originally was going to run 4 of the Pyrehounds, but I thought that at 4 mana, the creature was probably like a little vulnerable. Like, I'd probably play a Pyrehound on turn 4, completely tapped out, and then usually it'd get removed. So I wanted to have a creature that came down earlier, or a creature that I can cast in the late game and still have mana left over to cast spells in case I needed to protect it. Also, the +1/-1 ability is kind of relevant, allowing you to clear out annoying blockers or just get in extra points of damage whenever you have extra mana. Coming over here to the sideboard. For our more controlling matches, we have a 2 of Dispel, a 2 of Turn Aside to counter any spells. Mostly you want to counter removal spells that are targeting your threats, since you're only running about 14 win conditions here. Also running a 2 of Negate. Couldn't really decide which is better out of all the counter spells, because Negate is kind of important for opposing Pulse of Marasa. Also, I've got a 1 of Disperse to take care of any pesky creatures with +1/+1 counters. A 1 of Slip Through Space to sort of, if you ever get a match where your Pyrehound is really, really big, but yet they have tons of blockers, it's an easy way to get through with extra damage. I'm running 2 Fiery Impulse on the side for extra removal. Those aren't quite as good as Galvanic Bombardment, but in this deck it's really easy to hit the spell mastery. Recently, between the blue-green Emerge and even the red-green tokens deck, there are a lot of 1/1s that have been running around, so I ended up packing a 3 of Boiling Earth Never got to awaken it, but I'm still trying. And rounding that out is a 2 of for the Rolling Thunder. Never really brought those in, so think I might end up changing those out for something else. Now, another note on the deck, I was running a 1 of Uncaged Fury to give somebody double strike, sort of like a combo finish. There are other versions of this deck here that run the card, was it Pour Over the Pages? Let's see real quick. Yes. No, that's the uncommon version. Anyways, I can't remember the name of the spell. It's the 3-mana sorcery. You look at like the top 5 cards, put 2 instants or sorceries in your hand and the rest in the graveyard. Originally, I decided not to put those in this deck because personally I occasionally have land problems, and so I wanted the Tormenting Voice and Take Inventory to be able to search for any lands if I ever miss a land drop. That was my biggest problem with the other spell. However, you'll see in matches today I came up against another blue-red deck that did run Pour Over the Pages. Well, not Pour Over the Pages. They did run that spell, and I think it did really well. This deck here is kind of like a rough draft. I'll include a link here in the comments to the deck list that did win, since it was also very close to this blue-red deck. I hope you enjoy the matches coming up. We've got several for you. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned.